Grace report. Sorry to be late. My power went out again. Luckily, it was only for 20 minutes, but that is why I'm a little bit behind. It was off for 7 hours yesterday. It didn't come back on until I think 5 in the morning. So yeah, they hooked up a generator, and I'm kind of mad right now, so I apologize. They hooked up a freaking generator. There's a security guard in his car in front of my house. They hooked up a freaking generator because this happens every freaking year on my street, and it's the only street that loses power. I can look over there and they have power. This street loses power every summer, and they do not fix the problem properly. And then when I got home, they were freaking drilling and all that stuff yesterday at 2 in the morning. They were like you could hear them drilling into the cement. I was like, holy crap, no one sleep. I didn't sleep at all last night. No one slept. And then it went off again. And I was like, great. Like, what? No. And it came back on. So just warn you, if I go off, it means it went off. I'm not sure how long, if they fix the problem or what's going on. I feel like they just put a Band-Aid on things and it gets annoying. They need to fix it properly because this happens every summer. So what's up, guys? Sorry for the rant. What's up, guys? How are you guys doing? What is up? I'm irritated with it. That's why. What's up, Tammy, Delea, Matthew, Carol, Joanne? And then I'm on very little sleep because I could not sleep last night too. Tammy, Chris, Brandon, what's up? Julissa, Heather, whatever. Logical Spark. Joanne. Joanne says we had a tornado warning for. Oh, wow, that's crazy. But that is how my day went. It was all good until the power went off again. Joanne's asking, is there some earthquake stuff happening? Yes, I believe there was 2. I think there was one yesterday and there was one today, but I didn't feel either of them. I think they were too far away from me. Heather, whatever. Oh, sorry to hear that's. Oh, I hate when that happens. I'm sorry to hear that, Heather, whatever. But we'll wait for a few people to trickle in. For a second there, I thought I wasn't going to be able to go live, but fair warning, if I cut off, it's most likely because my power or something went out. My internet went out, something at this point. Heather Weather goes, Mount St. Helens doing something? Maybe. I don't know. I think it was in California, but I don't know like where. I don't remember where it was at. But I didn't. Actually, all the earthquakes we've had, even the close ones, I have not felt. So I've been, I guess you could count me lucky. Joanne goes, could that affect your power? No, it's because, Joanne, what happens is this is the first hot weekend we've had. We started summer off with a bang, considering summer started the other day, I think, on Thursday. Official start of summer. So this is the first weekend where we've had temperatures that have been over 90. And I know in some places you've already you're in way into the hundreds. So everyone had their air conditioning on. So when that happens, not my house because my air conditioning doesn't work. I run off of fans. But when everyone turns on the air conditioning, it overloads the circuit. And it happens every single year. And it is just this street. I know, I remember last year it went off and it was the entire neighborhood that time, but the year before that was just this street. It is always just this street. And I don't understand what they do upgrades. They did, I think a few years ago, they did some upgrades where they had planned outages, but obviously that has not fixed the problem. Hug, what is up? So I'm not sure. And they had, this is the weirdest thing. This time I've never seen this. They had a freaking generator, like this big, huge generator supplying us power from this morning, I guess, when they were drilling in. I don't know what the hell they were doing. But all I heard is that they were like with the cement thing at, I don't know, got 3 in the morning or something like that. And where they were doing it was about 3 houses up from here. So I can imagine the people that lived right in front of it. Joanne goes, we were really hot storms. Thankfully, no tornadoes. Matthew goes, at least in Florida, we could see the hurricane coming. One good reason I am not in California. True, you cannot see when the earthquakes are coming, but they do have early detection warnings. But I think it's only the big wigs that have it, like the big company that surveys the earthquakes, that measures them, that have it. We don't have it, or there might be an app for all I know. I don't know. I could be mistaken. Heather, whatever goes, it's 69 degrees here. Way too many people up here. It looks like a 4th of July. You are lucky, Heather, whatever. That might be why everyone's up there. They're trying to beat the heat. Hug goes, I have been telling content creators about the Bridgewater Triangle for a long time. I live in the Bridgewater. Oh, that is cool. I don't remember if, I think I vaguely talked about it, but I don't remember actually going in depth about it. And I had done a video, I don't know if you guys had missed it or if you've seen it, about the Pugwagees, which are kind of connected to the Bridgewater Triangle. And I had someone comment on there also about that they had lived, like you, Hug, that they had lived in the Bridgewater area. So it gave me an idea to talk about it. Chris goes, hot as heck here in Dayton, lots of humidity. Joanne goes, I remember the big blackout that took out all of Ontario and some of the states south of us. Wow. Hug goes, I live in Fall River, Massachusetts, next to Lizzie Borden's bed and breakfast. Oh, that is so cool. Julissa goes, can you imagine going all electric in California? I can imagine that because the supercharging station that was here was not affected. I could have just drove to the supercharger. I would have been fine if I had an all electric. It's not, not everyone charges their car at home. They go to the supercharging stations, which I don't know if they have their own generator, but I know they have their own like huge grid. So, and that area was not, because when I was driving home, there was electricity all the way until my street. if anything, I can hook up into someone else's electricity, because literally the house at the end of the street, you could see it. The street lights were on. I was like, what the hell? It's something to do with the circuit that this house or this street is on that they need to fix. Hugs goes, you talked about the Pugwagees. I watched that one, Lisa. Oh, awesome. Hug goes, Lisa makes me feel like I drink a cup of coffee. I'm a hype girl. And if that superstation doesn't work, there's another one down the street too that was not affected by the outage. True. Julissa makes a point. I was worried about the ice in my fridge because it was out for a good 8 or 9. I don't know how many hours, but it was out. No, but you wouldn't be able to cook or food. Yes, it was out. I am not kidding you. It was out for I think 7 or 8, 9 hours. Literally, it was out that long. I need to fish. How's it going? We'll wait a few more minutes for people to trickle in and we'll get into the Bridgewater Triangle. No, I get it. It's annoying. Like when it went out again, I was like, great. Cause I had my laundry. I hadn't flipped it over yet, but I was washing. So I was like, great, now I can't dry my clothes and it's going to sit in there and dry like that. And I'm like, oh, I know it we're a little spoiled because we have amenities. And when those go out, it's like you realize how much you depend on that amenity. Thank you, Hug. I appreciate that. I liked your video on the Pugwagees. But I lucky for me, I have candles because I always like candles to calm down at night. So I had candles, so it wasn't that bad. But it was kind of stuffy in here without the fan. Let me tell you. Julissa goes, last winter, I lost power for a few days. Thankfully, I was able to cook on my gas stove, but still lost food. That sucks. That's the only good thing about having gas stove instead of I don't even know if they have an electric uh stove. I know they have an electric dryer. Mine happens to be a gas dryer, but I know but in that cases it happens to be convenient because you could just turn and light it. Oh, thank you, Hug. I appreciate that. But it's super annoying when that happens. It was weird because I could hear the crickets outside too last night. It was like it was so peaceful, like nothing was on. It was almost like the whole neighborhood was gone and I was the only one here. That was the only cool thing about it. Besides the guys out there drilling into the cement with their big old drill going at 2 in the morning or whatever time it was. I was crazy. But I mean, I know no one's gonna complain because we need to get our power back, so I wouldn't complain. But super, super annoying, especially after going without it for so long and then it goes out again. You're like, what? They didn't fix the problem? Matthew goes, no hearing of ghosts bumping into that. Nope, I did not even hear that. I was expecting to hear the ghosts walking around and knocking and everything. Nope, nothing. Joanne goes, they had a big ice storm in Quebec in late 90s. No electricity for weeks. Wow. Jackhammer, thank you. I don't get it. Wow, that's crazy. I know they were out there all night, so I know they were freaking, and they probably were called in too. So I know they were doing the best they can. But it's just frustrating because I feel like every year we have the same problem. Hug goes the guys with their big drills. My mind is in the gutter. But yeah, that's how my day's gone. Yes. What's up, Angel? How's it going? And I go, I know we're not as hot as some places in the United States is right now, but still, it's Delay Lex, how's it going? Heather, whatever. Thank you for your PayPal. I really appreciate that. Hearts for Heather, whatever, guys. Thank you, Heather, whatever. You're awesome. I got an email saying the power was restored. I was like, if you have any problems, contact us. I'm like, Hugs goes, well, you're still smiling, so that is great. Well, you gotta make the best of the situation. You do. Delia goes, I'm getting off the typhoid shot. Oh, that is suck. I don't think I've ever had one of those, so I don't know how it feels, but I've had some certain ones and they can knock you out. So I know the feeling, Delia. Chris goes, I'm stuck in the house with my central air, not clear to drive yet. Well, I mean, think of it as a good thing, Chris. You can relax. All right, guys, have any of you, I know Hug has heard of the Bridgewater Triangle. Have any of you heard of the Bridgewater Triangle? I know I have. I don't think I know I had mentioned it loose like vaguely in a past stream, but I don't know if I've ever like completely gone deep dive into it. I Need to Fish goes, nope. Heather Whatever goes, never heard of it. Delaylex, nope, never had known of it. It is in Massachusetts. Angelica, what is up? Says no. Matthew goes, I may have forgetting some things. Matthew, that happens to me every once in a while. And guys, as usual, I didn't really hide Skeleduck, but he is back because I didn't have time. I just kind of left him where he was. Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. Just remind me at the end of the stream. Hopefully my power stays on and it doesn't go off again. But just remind me at the end of the stream, and I will reveal his location. But he is somewhere in this background. And for anyone that is curious as to what he looks like, I'm pretty sure everyone knows who's here. But in case anyone here is new, he is up in the upper right-hand corner. That is what he looks like. And he is somewhere in this background. Somewhere. So the Bridgewater Triangle. Let me pull it up here. And if you hear this weird like wind noise, it's my fan. I've got my fan on just to apologize in advance. I'm not sure how if it's affecting the mic or anything, but just let me know and I can move directions or I can move its directions. So this is inside the Bridgewater Triangle, the alleged paranormal vortex of southern Massachusetts. I found another article that had dubbed it, which I'll just show where it says. They had dubbed it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I'll just read before I get into that one, I'll read like an excerpt of this other one because it kind of does it kind of talks about the same thing, but it is dubbed by expert Tim Weisenberg a paranormal Disney World. In fact, the area is so saturated with reports of supernatural paranormal events, it was even described as a paranormal Disney World by expert Tim Weisenberg. So he coined it a paranormal Disney World. If they actually had a paranormal Disney World, I would definitely go. I find that interesting. That would be so cool if there's an actual paranormal Disney World. Matthew found Skeleduck already. Yes, guys, just remember, just remind me because I will forget in my older age here. I know I don't look it, but sometimes I do forget. So inside the Bridgewater Triangle, the alleged paranormal vortex of southern Massachusetts. From ghosts to UFO sightings to a Bigfoot-like creature, legends claim that the Bridgewater Triangle has long been home to a variety of unexplained occurrences. You may be familiar with the Bermuda Triangle, the mysterious region where legend has it all aircraft and ships disappear. But did you know there's another triangular region known for supernatural activity in the United States? Introducing the Bridgewater Triangle, a sinister area in southeastern Massachusetts that's famous for UFO sightings, poltergeists, and a variety of other unusual mysteries. So this is a picture of Pickton Rock. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. In the Bridgewater Triangle. Was photographed by Frank S. Davis on September 11th, 1893. So this is a pretty cool photo. Fairly a vintage photo for that matter. The 200 square mile area was given its name by renowned cryptozoologist Loren Coleman in the 70s. The region became better known in 1983 when Coleman published Mysterious America. Oh my God, the pop-ups. A travel book that covered many of the strange and paranormal experiences America has to offer, including the mysteries of the Bridgewater Triangle. Here's everything you need to know about the spooky region. The region's long history. Bridgewater Triangle shares roots with many colonial settlements along the East Coast, and the forest region has picked up a handful of legends and myths throughout its long history. According to New Bedford news station WBSM, Lauren Coleman, who had been living in Massachusetts in the 70s, was the first to sketch out the specific borders of the Bridgewater Triangle. Most of the area's activities, Coleman noted, took place in West Bridgewater, East Bridgewater, and Bridgewater proper, which formed a triangle. Later, the area expanded to about 200 square miles. The towns marking each point of the triangle are Abington in the north, Freetown in the southeast, and Rehoboth. I know I am butchering this, I apologize. In the southwest. Within the triangle are a number of landmarks known for being sites of paranormal activity, ranging from the eerie Hockomock Swamp to the Solitude Stone and ominous inscribed rock that would later become known as the S Stone. Ooh. So here is a map illustrating the Bridgewater Triangle. So it goes from Abington, which forms the tip of the top of the triangle, which goes down to Freetown and Rehoboth. I apologize. I know I am butchering it. The landmarks of the Bridgewater Triangle. The Hockomock Swamp, found in the center of the triangle, is the largest freshwater swamp in the state of Massachusetts. Around 300 CE, the swamp acted as hunting grounds and a burial site for the Wampanoag people, according to Legends of America. The Wampanoag, chief deity of death and disease, Hobomok, still supposedly inhabits the swamp, along with ghosts and other mythical creatures, and the tribe gave the swamp the name Hockomock, meaning place where spirits dwell. Profile Rock, located in Freetown Fall River State Forest, is another significant landmark of the Bridgewater Triangle. Named for its shape, which resembles a face in profile, the site carries spiritual significance for the Wampanoag people. One legend says that during King Philip's War, colonists stole a sacred wampum belt from the Wampanoag. It is believed that the Profile Rock is where Philip returned the lost belt to Anawan, a notable Wampanoag figure. Today, some visitors still see a ghostly figure of a man believed to be Anawan sitting on the rock with his legs crossed and arms outstretched. So here is a picture of Profile Rock at Freetown Fall River State Park in Massachusetts. So this is where people have said they have seen the figure, kind of in this pose with the arms crossed, kind of looks like he's waiting for something. And it is said that's where King Philip returned the belt, so possibly he's still waiting for the belt. Hugs goes Rehoboth. Thank you, Hug. I appreciate that. I know I was butchering it. I'm sorry. Rehoboth. I apologize. Sometimes I suck at pronouncing names. I try my best. And then Anne Juan. So so I'm guessing they're the people that see the ghostly figure. It is believed to be Anne Juan. And I apologize for butchering that one too as well. As for the Freetown Fall River, thank you, Hug. I appreciate that. As for the Freetown Fall River State Forest itself, the area has seen numerous reports of S's and a massive amount of alleged cult activity, including animal sacrifice and ritualistic or satanic murders. It kind of makes sense that cult activity or like kind of witchcraft or satanic activity would happen in that area. It seems because if it is an area like concentrated with spiritual activity or known sightings and UFO activities, what may be it, of course, people are going to flock there to do rituals. Also in West Bridgewater is Solitude Stone, which bears the eerie inscription, "All ye who in future days walk by," I am going to butcher this one too, Nuncut Noonkatisset stream, love not him who hummed his lay cheerful to the parting beam, but the beauty that he wooed. Oh, that is a cool shirt. Sorry. In the landmark's history, the bodies of several missing people have been found near the stone, and it has since been given the nickname S Stone. Up next is Bridgewater State University, a public university whose main campus allegedly boasts a number of rooms and buildings haunted by ghosts. In 1924, a fire destroyed several of the college's buildings, and some claim to have seen the ghosts of students running down halls yelling fire. The Hornbein School, a one-room schoolhouse, shares a similar haunted past. People have reported hearing the laughter of disembodied children there, or even seeing spectral school teachers and children through the school's window. Julissa goes, so scary. It is. This place seems like an interesting place to visit if any of you are in town. Then there's the Taunton State Hospital, a now abandoned complex that from 1854 to 1975 functioned as a psychiatric asylum. The hospital hosted a number of serial killers in its run, but also treated innocent patients suffering from mental health disorders and subjected many of its patients to horrific treatments like lobotomies, confinement, and electroshock, which happened a lot in the past, which was kind of sad that they had treatments like this, but unfortunately it did happen. So this is the Taunton State Hospital, and it was a picture taken sometime between 1863 and 1880. And that place looks creepy even in its heyday. Just looking at that picture, that place looks creepy. Angel goes, that's so creepy. It is. Hug has been to that one-room schoolhouse. That is so cool. Was it creepy, Hug? That is super awesome. Visitors to the hospital grounds have claimed to have heard banging or moaning there, and some have reported being touched or pulled by unseen figures in certain parts of the hospital. Allegedly, the asylum was also once a hub of satanic cults during the 60s and 70s. And again, it's another place. I feel like places like that, because I have a true belief that hospitals are haunted because of what happens in a hospital, especially a psychiatric one, but hospitals in general, because of how it's just a place people go to get sick, and sometimes they don't come back. So it just seems like a place that would be haunted to me. And I have a true belief that even like some of these hospitals that are still open are haunted, and I feel like that attracts the cults because of the energy there. I'm not sure if it's just my opinion. I'm not sure if that's actually why you always see like abandoned places that are haunted, that the history has always said something about satanic cults, and I always feel like it's because of the energy there, and they want to draw the energy when they're doing their rituals. But it's my opinion. I'm not sure if that's exactly what attracts satanic cults to these places. Hug goes, my uncle's brother is Carl Davis, involved in the cult unveilings in the Freetown Forest. Unalivings in the Freetown Forest. That is cool. The mythical creature of Bridgewater Triangle from unidentified flying objects. Give me a second, guys. So the mythical creatures of Bridgewater Triangle, from unidentified flying objects to Bigfoot sightings, the triangle has had its fair share of paranormal activity. And the mystical creature that roam Bridgewater Triangle may be just as terrifying as the region's historical landmarks, if not more so. Many of these wild sightings have taken place near the 16,950 acres of the Hockomock Swamp. A number of visitors have reported unnatural animal sightings, including panthers and bears, which are not found in the area. Some have spotted supernatural creatures like giant snakes and enormous, vicious dogs. In one account, according to the Yankee Express, a law enforcement officer claimed to have spotted a giant black creature called a thunderbird with an 8 to 12-foot wingspan. That is crazy. Another mythical creature, which I had spoke about in a previous stream or a video, called the Pugwudgie, has been known to inhabit the Freetown State Forest within the Triangle. According to Algon, I apologize for butchering this one too. Algonquin folklore, the Pugwudgie is knee-height or smaller. The local Wampanoag people have long considered the Pugwudgie to be a mischievous creature that loves to play tricks on humans. UFO sightings are also commonplace in Bridgewater Triangle. In fact, the region has had numerous reports of unidentified flying objects, often in the form of bright balls of light or unusual spacecraft. Perhaps the scariest sightings has been those of poltergeists, ghosts, and shadow people. On multiple occasions, there have been strange voices coming from several areas within the Bridgewater Triangle. To top off all the paranormal events, the area reportedly also has a history of disturbing cult activity, including various animal mutilations, particularly in Freetown and Fall River. According to the Standard Times, in 1998, a mutilated headless cow was found in the woods. In another instance, earlier that same year, a group of grotesquely mutilated calves have been discovered in the same spot, leading authorities to believe the cows have been used in some sort of ritual or sacrifice, or they were abducted. I feel like, yeah. Hug goes, I've been to the Hockomock Swamp at night. I've helped with a photo shoot of a metal band named Hockomock. That is cool. That's cool. That is super cool, Hug. Why the Bridgewater Triangle is a hub for paranormal activity. So this is a picture. Hug had just said that they have been to this swamp for a photo shoot of a metal band that's also named Hockomock. So this is the Hockomock swamp, and it's the largest freshwater swamp in Massachusetts. It looks cool. I like I don't know. It's something about I love places like this. Even if they are haunted, I still like. If haunted or not, I like places like this because I'm like an outdoorsy person, so I would be right at home in this area. I just hope I don't run into anything if I ever visit. So why is the Triangle region such a hotspot for paranormal activities? There are a few theories. Legend has it that the spooky energy is the result of a curse unleashed on the area centuries ago as punishment for the poor treatment the Wampanoag people received from colonial settlers. Remember the Wampum Belt that was lost and eventually returned near Profile Rock? Some researchers believe the curse may have been set on the land after colonists stole the belt from the Wampanoag people, and that curse still accounts for the Triangle's abundance of paranormal activity today. Logical Spock goes, you had it right, Hockomock. Thank you, Hug. I appreciate that. Logical Spark has said, hey, Lisa, I just noticed something. Your voice sounds like the same girl from the 1978 version of Superman, the intro in it. Oh, really? That's cool. I have to rewatch. I haven't seen that movie in a while. I have to rewatch it. Heather, whatever goes, take an air horn. I scared off a bear cub today. Figured mom was close by. Bears are cute, but they can be dangerous at the same time. So that is cool. What you did, Heather, whatever. Safe. It's better to be safe than sorry. I have never become face to face with a bear, but I've seen people that have, and some luckily they escaped safely. But and then some people I know, there's an area up here, I know some of you don't know, but it's the city of Monrovia. They're like right off the mountains. They get a lot of bears in their backyard playing in their pools. Heather Whitaker goes, right, I protected my dog. Exactly. Better safe than sorry. The area is also known to have unusual high levels of quartz, a material so efficient at amplifying energy. It's often used in digital electronics. Some researchers have theorized that the quartz may be amplifying existing activity in the triangle, making it easier for us to observe. Another theory is that the area already had the makings of a paranormal hotbed. According to Boston.com, the world has a number of vortexes, or areas where the laws of physics don't behave normally. Paranormal expert Chris Pittman says the Bridgewater Triangle is one such vortex. Some say that the wounded and pained spirits of the Wampanoag are the reason for the paranormal in the swamp. This is part of the explanation, but I would go further. He said, it says he, Pittman. I was like, wait a minute, huh? He added, so it's a typo, I think the vortex was in place in the swamp before the settlers and before the Native Americans. That vortex contributed to the inhumanity of the war between the Wampanoag and the English, and it fosters pain and evil in that area to this day. Whether it's a curse or a vortex or just a series of bizarre events, it is safe to say that we should all beware of the Bridgewater Triangle. Hug goes, hey, that original Superman keeps coming up lately. I think it keeps coming up because they just they released photos of James Gunn's Superman that he's working on right now. So I think that's the reason why Superman is coming up like everywhere. The original skyscraper is nearby where I live, and it's for sale in Providence, Rhode Island. That is so cool. Matthew goes, John Carpenter and Robert Englund are getting stars on the Walk of Fame. I used to, before I realized that they have to pay to get their stars, I used to thought it was like super like exclusive until I started going in, like researching it. And then I was like, what, they pay? So like it's not like a it's not like an award, you should say, or like an exclusive thing. So it kind of lost it. It's cool though. It's still cool to have one. If I were those two people and I had one, I'd be stoked. It's still cool to have one regardless. But it loses its kind of appeal to me because I thought it was like an exclusive thing. Heather, whatever, I'm not 100% sure, but I read somewhere that they did. Hug goes, there are definitely some creepy stuff around here in Massachusetts and Rhode Island. That's what I've heard. Like everyone has told me, come to the East Coast. We've got a bunch of spooky stuff here. Or do stories about the East Coast. And the more that I've seen, I've read and found there are a lot of places that are spooky. Hug goes, yeah, I meant to say the Superman movie from 1978 keeps coming up in my conversation lately. Chris goes, they do pay for them. And it's a great Superman. I grew up watching that Superman. Julissa goes, do they have to qualify to get a star even though they pay for it? I don't know. I don't know how it works, Julissa. I just know I've read somewhere that they paid for them. I don't know if they have to, if it's like they pay like $5,000 or something. I don't know, some outrageous amount. It might not even be $5,000. That seems like little. I mean, it's a lot for us, but for them, it probably isn't. But I don't know if it's like they pay or they have to reach some certain, I don't know, like the guidelines. HUD goes, I've been to the Conjuring House twice. The Conjuring House, I have a hard time believing it because it's kind of overhyped, and I don't agree with the new owners. They charge, they're greedy. I'm gonna say they charge a lot. I'm not sure how much the previous owners charged or if they charged at all, but because I've never been there myself, but I've heard they charge a lot. And and I had said that in my video yesterday, they want, if you do a video or like an investigation and want to post a video on your YouTube channel, you have to run it by, they have to see it first before you can post it on your YouTube channel. And that kind of makes me not want to go there because of that. I'm like, HUD goes, I met Stormy Daniels at the Conjuring House. She is a ghost hunter. Super cool. HUD goes, the previous owners were super cool. We didn't pay. There you go. See? Like the new owners are greedy. They're trying to, they know what money they have. Like they know what they have basically, and they want to take advantage of it. Matthew goes, in addition to a 250 fee to submit an application, there's also a sponsorship fee of $75,000 upon selection. What is that for, Matthew? Is that, Matthew, is that the cost for the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Joanne goes, that's odd. It always reports that they get or awarded a spot. Exactly. That's what I had always thought. But no, that's not the truth. Matthew goes, it pays to install it and other things. So that is the cost, or somewhere around the cost, according to people, of the to get a Hollywood star. So it kind of lost its appeal for me once I knew. I was like, what, they paid for it? So it kind of, and don't get me wrong, if I had that money and I was able to get one, I'd be stoked. Don't get me wrong, because that's something cool to have. Like, even if you're paying for it, it's cool. I mean, it shows also too how far you've come, because I know a lot of people, John Carpenter, I'm sure he started out with nothing, and a lot of them did. And look at where they are now. So it's like, it's kind of showing an accomplishment. So Matthew goes, which pays for the creation and installation of the star as well as maintenance of the Walk of Fame. Wow. HUD goes, Papa John, the former caretaker of the Conjuring House, makes spirit boxes. He was led to a cemetery by the spirits, and I went a few days later. I have many stories of my visits. That is so cool. I'm envious of you, HUD, because I have yet to have an experience like that. I've had other experiences, but not like where I've seen things moving or heard disembodied voice or anything like that. I hope to one day. But I haven't had that type of experience yet. I've had dreams. That's pretty much where my kind of experience have come from. And when you're or if you're standing somewhere and you hear like you know how you could hear the shifting, like as if somebody's walking by, and then you look and there's nobody there. I've had that. I've had my name called and while sitting on the couch here and stuff like that. Joanne goes, do you have a spirit box? I do. I have two. I've got the SB7 Pro, which I have not yet used, and I also have another one that's from Ghost Shop. I believe it's called Ghost Stop Shop. Well, this one I bought from Ghost Stop Shop too as well. I've yet to use it. So but I do own one. I own two. Hugs goes, I know the couple that lives next door to the Conjuring House. The wife was raised in the home. She has had more stories than previous owners of the Conjuring House. I mean, it's that house is so hyped that it loses its credibility to me. But if an arm and a leg to go into, I would go into it to see what I would experience. Because I I've always been a true believer, and especially I know Jason from Ghost Hunters, he has always said if you want to know if something's haunted, go there yourself. And I totally agree with that. Oh, that's okay, Wendy. Kyle, how's it going? So I am not, but it's just super expensive. It's like one of those things, it's like it's not even worth it type of thing. If but Hug, you were lucky enough to uh go there with the previous owners and they didn't charge you anything. So you were lucky enough. They were way better in my opinion than the new owners. Hug goes, you could rent it for a night with friends and bring the price down. It's still expensive though, Hug. It still is. It's like a money grabber. And I don't like the fact too, there's other things I don't like about it, like how I said about them having to look over your YouTube video. I'm like, it's my video. Why do you need to look over it when I'm paying you money to stay at your place type of thing? It's not like I'm showing your face. If I'm showing your face, then it's a different thing. I'm not showing their faces or anything. Oh, Wendy, I hope he's okay. Hug goes, I could take you to the cemetery and back and to the Bathsheba house. Oh, cool. One day, Hug. One day. One day. No, Wendy, I hope your husband's doing okay. Hope it's not too bad. I've been to the Bathsheba grave and Mercy Brown. That is so cool. You've been to a lot of places, Hug. That's awesome. That's super awesome. That is. Brandon, thank you for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 13 months. Mad Monster next month. Hearts for Brandon, guys. And yes, I am super excited. It is less than a month. Actually, it's less than a month away, Brandon. It is. It's like 2 weeks away, 2.5 weeks away. So I am super excited. I can't wait. I always have a blast when I go. Not looking forward to the heat, but looking forward to the road trip. Heather, whatever, or Matthew, sorry, Heather, whatever. Matthew says they have a 2-year wait period for after the stars passes. Wow. That's crazy, Matthew. Hug also says there is a New England Stonehenge, also cool. That is cool. Sabrina, how's it going? Called a mourning period. That is super cool. Joanne is watching hockey, I believe, and the Oilers win the Stanley Cup. It's back in Canada. Super awesome if you are hockey, right, Joanne? I don't follow that stuff, so I apologize. If you are a hockey fan and fan of the Oilers, congrats. I'm not a fan of sports, so I don't. I find it because I've never been into sports, but I find it fascinating when people are in the sports. I find it cool, like how they follow their team and all that. I find it fascinating. I do. Hug goes, the Newport Tower is so neat too in nearby Rhode Island. Heather, whatever goes, I like hockey, but I don't know much. I mean, I guess if I played the sport, I might. If I played sports, I might be more into sports, but I'm not into sports. Okay, Joanne, it is hockey. I apologize, guys, the hockey fans out there. I do not follow sports, so I'm like, I'm HUD goes, the New England Legends on Prime have tons of wicked cool stuff. I will have to check that out. That is super cool. I mean, I'll watch boxing every once in a while, or I'll watch kickboxing or stuff like that, but or martial artists. I because I like that kind of stuff. So that I'll watch. But when it comes to football, hockey, baseball, just not my thing. Hug says Ronald Reagan witnessed a UFO in the Bridgewater Triangle, Fall River, Freetown State Forest. I'm jealous of him because I have yet to see one and I want to see one day. Oh, Joanne, that's cool that you found the joy in it again. That's super cool. Sabrina likes football. Go Green Bay. Heather, whatever goes, I like sports, but I don't have cable. I'm not a sports person at all. All right, I got one more article and I'm going to open it up for questions. Kyle had mentioned, this is more a little true crime-ish, but it's a little horrific too at the same time. He had mentioned the Piggy Palace Massacre. Forgot the name of it for a second. I had never heard of it. I think it was during the stream where I was talking about I forgot what I was talking about. Urban legends or something like that. And one of them, a boy went missing. I forgot what I was talking about, but a boy went missing, and I guess the parents were tending to pigs. And so now I know why Kyle brought this up. It's more a little true crime-ish, but nonetheless, I had never heard about it. It did happen in Canada. And it's more of a true crime story, so we're going to kilter off to the left, but I always say that true crime is connected with horror. So terror on notorious serial killer Robert Pickton, who was convicted of a 2007 for the murder of 6 women and suspected in the disappearance of many more, has died. Pickton, 74, succumbed, and this was recent. Last month. Pickton, 74, succumbed to his injuries from the attack, authorities revealed on Friday. Pickman, who once bragged about killing 49 women, was sentenced to life in prison in 2007. The assault took place at Kent Institution, a maximum security prison in British Columbia, where he was serving his life sentence. A 51-year-old inmate is in custody for the assault. The news actually gives me a little bit of closure for myself. Cynthia Cardinal, whose sister Georgina Papin was one of Pickton's victims, told the New York Post following the attack, calling his injuries karma. And she isn't alone, as Pickton's grisly crimes have haunted her and the rest of Canada since the late 90s. Known as the pig farm killer, Pickton lured vulnerable women, many of whom were sex workers, from Vancouver to his farm in Port Coquitlam, a remote area about 17 miles away. There, he brutally murdered them, gutting them like animals and often feeding parts of their bodies to his 600-pound pigs as way of disposing of the evidence. And I guess, yes, pigs do eat people. Robert Pickton worked his farm with his brother David, who both inherited the property after their mother Louise died in 1979. After her death, they sold parts of the farm for over $4 million. Louise, who Pickton had a very strong attachment to, was described as a tough, abusive workaholic. His father was also brutal and abusive, and they weren't close. Louise would make both boys work long hours on the farm, even on school days, and wouldn't allow them to bathe regularly, which led to them being bullied in school. When they would finally bathe, Louise would only allow them to take baths, which eventually led to Pickton's developing an irrational fear of taking showers. After their parents' death and the sale of part of the farm, the brothers eventually moved off the property and formed a charity, the Piggy Palace Good Time Society. But through this organization, the brothers found another sick, twisted use of their farm, hosting wild sex parties through his newly formed charity. Joanne goes, "Oh my, that was horrible what he did to the women." It was. And then Heather whatever goes, "I did hear that, but I didn't know he was suspected of so many." Joanne goes, "The authorities also recalled some of the meat they sold off of the farm." What? Oh, this foundation, which claims to manage and operate special events on behalf of service and sports organizations, did none of that. Instead, they hosted drug-infused orgies with over 2,000 guests, oftentimes with drugs supplied by the local Hells Angels and sex workers picked up and brought back by Pickton himself. Many of these sex workers would be picked up in Pickton's converted bus with tinted windows, which he called his pride and joy. But after they were in his truck, many of them were never seen again. This leads many to believe that he did not act alone in his killings. Murder may have not been a part of the party for some, as a few witnesses who claimed to have been on the farm told CBC in 2007. Low track. During the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, Vancouver's East Side was one of the poorest neighborhoods in the country, averaging at least one overdose death a day. These 10 blocks in British Columbia became known as Low Track, the heart of the Providence heroin and prostitution scene, having the highest HIV infection rate in all of North America. All survey in 1975 found that 73% of Low Track's prostitutes entered sex work as children. That is sad. So when Robert Pickton started kidnapping and murdering from this area, it often went unnoticed. But as pressures from ignominious groups, I'm getting tongue twisted, increased, as many of the missing women were First Nation members. Oh, wow. The police finally started looking into their whereabouts. Their list included 54 low-track women who went missing between 1983 and 2001. This is super sad. D-Nice, what is up? But police couldn't piece everything together until Bill Hiscock. I knew somebody who had that last name, Hiscock. A worker, I think it was a person I worked with. A worker for Pickton tipped off police in 1998. I don't want to say, the Bill knew of Pickton's parties and told police he had been following the story about the missing women in Vancouver. He called Pickton a sicko who frequently picked up sex workers in Low Track and bragged that he could easily dispose of bodies and that he might be responsible for all the missing girls. The guy was freaking nuts. And freaking... But even after the tip came through, Pickton wasn't arrested until February of 2002. A rookie officer who was not involved in the investigation came to Pickton's home on a completely different matter with a warrant to search for illegal guns. But what police found was worse than anything they could have imagined. Officers on scene discovered the remains, personal items, and DNA of 33 women on the pig farm, along with the firearms that they were originally there for. Following this discovery, reports came out indicating that some of the meat from Pickman Farms, which was not a commercial operation, may have been tainted with and mixed with human remains. I am so glad I don't eat meat. However, the meat from Pickman's farm was distributed throughout a small circle of family and friends for a number of years. Families of the victims were distressed by the news and angered by the fact that they had to get details about the case regarding their loved ones on the news instead of from the police. That sucks. I would be pissed off. That sucks. Vancouver police also faced some much deserved criticism for not taking the case seriously due to the many of the missing women being sex workers or drug users. Pickman, however, was only charged with the murder of 26 women. He stood trial and was found guilty of 6 counts of second-degree murder, for which he was sentenced to life in prison in 2007. Prosecutors say Pickton previously told an undercover officer who was planted in his jail cell as he awaited trial that he killed 49 women and was upset he wasn't able to make it to an even 50. This guy was sick. Pickman became eligible for day parole in February, sparking major outrage from victims, relatives, and several politicians who said he should never be released. Most of these women and their families will never receive the justice they deserve, said Carrie Lynn Finley, a conservative parliament member. Monsters like him should only leave prison in a body bag, which apparently it doesn't say who injured him, but apparently someone in prison injured him and took his life. So I guess karma had it to him. Kyle goes, keep listening, and gets worse. It did. Hug goes, Hiscock is a name of a local contractor company here in Fall River, Massachusetts. I turn into a giggling 12-year-old boy whenever I see it. Yes, it's crazy. That's why I didn't want to say it again. No, I did have a coworker with that last name, and I was like, oh my gosh. Imagine growing up with that last name. How many people like made fun of you? Not his fault, but Hug goes, I am so glad I don't eat meat either, Lisa. 22 years for me. Oh, wow, that's a lot. I think I'm fairly, well, I'm not that long. I think I'm about 5 or 6. I'm a newbie still. Joanne goes, there's an area in Alberta called the Alberta Triangle, mostly missing women within a certain area. Oh, wow. Matthew goes, I will eat meat, fruits, vegetables, and grains until someone invents a Star Trek replica. D Dice goes, I just came back from eating meat, kind of questioning my choices, but it was delicious. No, I don't mind if I'm not like one of those persons that are, you have to be what I am. I'm not like that. Like I'm not gonna put my choices and beliefs on you. I mean, I don't mind if someone else eats meat when I don't. If I'm at a dinner table, I'm not like that picky. I know there's some people that are like that though, but I'm not like that. Kyle goes, as of this year, he was often yes, the beginning, Kyle, the beginning of the article did say that a 51-year-old took his life or injured, but they didn't say how, obviously. And it just reminded me of because that's what happened to what's his face too. Dahmer. That happened to Dahmer too. So it's kind of karma is a bitch. D Dice goes, no, Lisa, what you just read. Heather, whatever goes, I was a vegetarian with my oldest, but then I got anemic, been a current. I do take vitamins because I know you have to take vitamins, but I've never gotten, I've never had any problems. Kyle goes, it was from another inmate from what I heard. That's what I was thinking, but they kind of did not. They just said a 51-year-old. They didn't go in depth in the article that I had just read. I don't know if they wanted to give out too much or they didn't have the information, because sometimes people don't give out when something happens, they don't give out all the details sometimes. Brandon goes, I have eight meat around her, all good. Matthew goes, I will not eat a jalapeno on a stick. Jose is too cool of a puppet. Heather, whatever goes, I was told runners break little blood vessels in their feet and can get anemic. I did not know that. I am not a runner. I never liked running. I'm more of a walker. I like walking. But yeah, that guy, Karma was a bitch. Definitely. He met his maker. That guy was crazy. Like he was boasting that, oh, I couldn't even make it to 50. Like what kind of like what the hell, dude? That guy was crazy. Kyle goes, still a twisted story. Sounds like a script of a horror film, but sadly was real. Yes, it does. And I don't think a lot of people know of that story, Kyle. So thank you for sharing it. I didn't know about it. It's not spoken of to. I mean, when they talk about serial killers, they normally talk about like the normal ones that we always hear about, like Dahmer, Bundy, Gacy. But he's twisted too. They should talk about, yeah, he's twisted. He's crazy. Like he kind of he was like kind of vain about it too. That's like crazy. Need to fish goes, Lisa's one of the good vegans. Yes, I am. I don't care. I'm not gonna push my beliefs. It's my choice. Why am I gonna everyone has a choice. D Nice goes, if Skeledeck is any easy place this time, I can't see. I'm gonna be mad. I kind of left him where he was from a previous video because D Nice, you weren't here at the beginning. I lost power right before I was supposed to go on, so it's a little bit late. And I had no power for I wasn't here yesterday, luckily, but I had it was like 8 or 9 hours where I I think I only experienced when I got home. I only experienced like 3 hours of, but I couldn't sleep because I need sound to sleep. But so I didn't have time to move him, so I just left him. Cause it's a Hug goes, I don't push my beliefs. It's a choice. Why am I gonna like? I'm not gonna force you to be something you don't want. I know there's people like that though, but I'm not like that. I just kind of moved him over a bit. All right, guys, I'm gonna open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions. Julissa goes, my vegan friends are very cool, but I always feel a little guilty eating meat around them. I personally, I don't care, but I could see how you feel because you probably feel like they're looking at you like, why is she eating that? But I'm cool. I don't think that. Joanne goes, if only I could remember where the duck was. Chris goes, I don't remember where it was last time. It was on a standalone video. The last standalone video I was in my studio is where Skeleduck. If you spotted him in that video, he's still in the same place, practically. And Tone, how's it going? Good morning, afternoon, evening, world, and greetings from Korea. Oh, that is so awesome. Welcome. That is super cool. But just remind me before I end the stream and I'll reveal his location. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. They also remember how I mentioned the monolith that was in Vegas? It mysteriously disappeared. It's no longer there. I saw an article like literally the next day after I told you guys that it was mysteriously removed. They still don't know who's doing it. That's the crazy thing. D-Nice goes, do you agree that those creatures from your last video was like those things from The Mummy Returns? Kind of. Well, kind of. They're kind of like gnomes, but with like a porcupine. Well, the one report said like a porcupine back, like porcupines on their back and a gnome look in the front. And then another one says like they had the face of the Wampanoag people, but their ears were enlarged and their fingers were enlarged. So they're kind of like a gnome. So yeah. Brandon goes, last time I saw a skeleton, he was in a lab. Chris goes, I give up. The duck has vexed me once again. Carol goes, I've had people tell me I'm disgusting for eating any kind of meat, and I didn't even know them. They made me uncomfortable to a point I yelled at them, and I was applauded for it. Yeah, that's rude. Like, you shouldn't. It's like with religion. You shouldn't force your beliefs. It's the same idea. You shouldn't force your beliefs on someone, because maybe not necessarily not everyone believes in what you believe in. And I know there's people that do that too. And that annoys me. So I'm not going to do that to people when it annoys me. Brandon goes, can we party in Arizona? Hell yeah. Brandon? Wendy goes, gnomes freak me out. I collect garden gnomes, so they don't freak me out too much. I've got gnomes all over the place. Like I've got one right there. I've got some on my desk. Got some in my room. Joanne goes, check out Hammerson Peters, Canadian Folklore and Legends. Ooh, I will. I love folklore. But let me write it down because I will forget. Heather, whatever, I spoke to a lady who named her dog Bacon today. She said it's weird in the neighborhood when she calls him Bacon. That's a cute name though, but then people, yeah, because when you call out Bacon, they're gonna be like, huh? And she's like, oh no, my dog's name is Bacon. Don't mind me. Kyle goes, I only recently got my driver's license back, but too late to be making international trips. Brandon goes, what is Grayson Report's favorite liquor? I don't drink that much, Brandon. I literally drink like once a year, if that. So I don't have a favorite. I don't really. I like, put it this way. If I like the drinks that don't taste like a drink. Because I do not like the taste of alcohol, to be honest with you. Joanne goes, he is on YouTube. I will check him out because I do like folklore. I need to fish goes, facts, just because I fear the Lord doesn't mean you have to. But many people hate me for this fact about me, even though it is the beginning of wisdom. That's what makes you. I know a lot of people have they don't like people because of certain beliefs, and I'm like, dude, you gotta be open to things. Like, I may not necessarily believe in what you believe in, but I respect that you believe in what you believe in. We all have different beliefs. I'm not gonna. Wendy goes, fruity shit. Yes. Those wimpy drinks. Hug goes, the monolith. It is. It's crazy because it just appears. I guess it started in 2020, and they just appear out of nowhere, and then just like that, it disappeared. I think there was one in California. I don't know if it's still there. One in Utah. There was one that was in Vegas, but now it's not there anymore. There's some that's been in Vegas, or not in Vegas, in Europe. That's crazy. So somebody, I'm guessing it's someone with a lot of money that can just go in and go out right away, because they're saying it's not easy. I mean, usually it's like in the middle of the desert somewhere where it's not easy to get to. So the only way to get to these things is with helicopter. So it's got to be someone that has the means to do it. Heather whatever goes, I forgot to look it up. The monolith in Las Vegas. That it was last week. Heather whatever. And I think like a couple days later, they reported that it vanished. Like it was gone. Matthew goes, let's call the dogs. Hey, Kevin Bacon, where are you two dogs? Every time you say Kevin Bacon, I either remember Friday the 13th or Footloose. 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 Joanne goes, I think it's an illusion of some kind. I think it's like an artsy art installment and someone trying to make a statement. I need to fish goes, remember the two stupid. I do. I never watched it, but I do remember the two stupid dogs. I do. I never watched it though. Brandon goes, like a Banksy type artist or Bagsy artist. I saw that, Matthew. I am super excited. I'm gonna probably go broke with, even though I'm already broke, but Matthew goes, Trick or Treat Studios and Bloody Disgusting have horror stuff in Walmart. I saw that. I was like, that's cool though. No, it's cool because it's cool. I know Target already had like the Toonie Terrors, which I love. And I have a few there. I've got some that I've got to hang up too, but I have a few of the Toonie Terrors up already. I love Toonie Terrors. But they have Target had like the Funko Pops and all that, so it's kind of cool to see Walmart getting those. Jennifer Marie, thank you for being a member of the Wolf Pack for 12 months. We missed you at lunch today. Lisa, we missed you at lunch today for Long Beach. Jennifer Marie, sorry I could not make it. My power went out last night and I literally did not get to bed until like 5 in the morning and I was exhausted today. And then it went out again. So I'm mentally exhausted from the power outage. So I apologize, Jennifer Marie. But hearts for Jennifer Marie. Yes, my power, it was out almost all day. Or since the evening to like early morning. I don't even remember what time it came back because I was trying to go to sleep and I couldn't sleep. Because I need noise to sleep. And then, of course, when the power goes on, you wake up because everything goes on. I hope you guys had fun because it looked like fun. And I'm like, oh. Like, I was just not, I was napping all day. And then the power went off again. That's why I was late to the stream for those of you that just came on. But luckily, hopefully this year that they finally fixed. I mean, they literally had a power generator sitting outside on the street. That's how bad it was. I need to fish goes. I felt that way about needing noise to sleep when I first moved away from the city. I do. I need like I have a sound machine that I use, but and if the power goes off, I wake up right away. Or or I even had because I have a what is it called? Like a camping fan, like a portable fan, like that's rechargeable. So I had that, but it wasn't loud enough, and I turned it on. But I think my power came back on like at 5 in the morning or something. I don't know, but it was off for like 7 or 8 hours, and then it went off again. So I'm like, but it looks like they fixed it because it hasn't gone off. So we'll see. So needless to say, I am freaking exhausted. Carol goes, I've been away from a town, city for 10 years and still need my TV or radio on to sleep. I need sound. Just even with the fan or a fan, I need a fan on. I need some type of sound. I cannot sleep at all. Chris Barr goes, I fell asleep to the lovely movie sounds of Die Hard. I fall asleep. If I fall asleep with the TV on, it's usually to some true crime. So I'll fall asleep like Forensic Files, right? I'll fall asleep to Forensic Files. And then I'll wake up like, you know, like how you wake up, because if the fan, I could sleep all day, you know, throughout the night. But if it's a TV, I'll wake up. And I'll wake up and it goes, he hid the knife underneath the bed. And I'm like, what the heck am I watching? Then go back to sleep. The body was found in the desert, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, holy crap. I was watching Forensic Files before I went to bed and I turned it off. Julissa goes, the sound of crickets was torture for me when I moved to the suburbs. I'm used to hearing airplanes. Oh, wow. Heather, whatever goes, we have utter silence here or faraway traffic, occasional plane or dogs barking at wild animals. That's cool. Carol goes, even as a kid, I needed my radio on to sleep. Don't know why. Maybe it was the damn crickets that were so loud. I just need the sound. Joanne goes, I have a Bluetooth sleep mask. Listen to whatever. I have one of those too, but I prefer my sound box over the sleep mask. But if I travel, I sometimes use the sleep mask. I do have one of those too. Chris goes, I live near a railroad yard. Always loved the sound of trains. Brandon goes, I fall asleep to the cloud and sounds of silence like a Borg. You're lucky, Brandon, because that's where I was up, basically. I could not fall asleep. I could not relax. I could not fall asleep. My heart was pounding out of my chest. Because I do suffer from anxiety, so that kind of affects me when I'm trying to sleep too. And the sound kind of soothes me and relaxes me. So if it's like quiet, I was up until the power came on, basically. Emily goes, I usually turn on Supernatural to go to sleep. Heather whatever goes, lights wakes me up. That does too. Julissa goes, now my dog and husband snoring do the job of sound machine. Antone falls asleep to the sound of thunderstorms. I can too. I could do thunderstorms and rain. Rain I always found soothing. Heather, whatever goes, I've been getting very anxious lately. I was trying music. I was like, trying to relax, and I was like, okay, I could do this without the sound. Try to get rest. And I was like, no, I couldn't. I kept tossing and turning, kept getting up. Then it was hot too because I couldn't have the fan on, like no power, so couldn't have a fan or anything on. So it was like, even I take ashwagandha, didn't help. Kyle, if it's too quiet, I know something isn't right. Jennifer Marie goes, I can only sleep to the sound of a box fan. I even traveled all the way here with mine so I could sleep in the hotel. Jennifer Marie, I bring my sound machine with me. I do. I cannot. I mean, I try it. I have a sleep mask like Joanne uses, like a Bluetooth one. And then I hook it up to my phone. And that way I wouldn't disturb, anybody. But I just sleep better with the actual box than the sleep mask. So I just bring my box. And I'm like, I hope I don't disturb anybody else in the building, but I don't care. I'm going to be sleeping. And I don't think they'll hear it. I was like, you know what? It'll probably help them sleep too. But I do the same thing you do, Jennifer Marie, except I bring my I'll bring my so at Mad Monster, I'm gonna bring my sleep box with me. Jennifer Marie goes, my box fan broke, and before I got another one, I found a YouTube video that's 10 hours long of box fan noises. Oh, that is cool. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they had one of those. I know they have the rainstorms and like they have white noise. I've seen that, but I didn't know they had box fan noises. Oh, that's cool. I just I was even trying to. I was like, I'm gonna try to go to sleep, but it didn't happen. Matthew goes, having fan noise helps me sleep. Even having the fan on and feeling like the breeze from the fan. This sounds weird, but that calms me down. Because now I forgot how much a fan like because I just now it's starting the weather's starting to warm up. So I had my fan on and I went to sleep with the fan on. I was like, oh my god, I forgot how good this felt to have a fan on. Carol goes, I can't stand the fan or the AC hum. Ooh. Heather, whatever goes rainstorms online sound loud to me. Like is it a flood? No, it's just like ambient, like rain, like the rain, I guess. Not like, and then like with some thunderstorms added into it, like you'll hear like the soft rolls, like it's soothing. It's not like you're actually, it's not it actually watching a flood on TV. Jennifer Murray goes, I cannot stand when the air in a room is still. I need constant circulation with a fan. I'm like that. Not in the wintertime. In the wintertime, I'm fine. Um, but I'm like that in the car. When I'm driving, I have to have my fan on, even if it's cold. I have to have some type of fresh air circulating or something. I'm like that, Jennifer Marie, in my car. But in the wintertime, I usually don't have my fan on. So when I turned my fan on, I forgot how soothing it was to me. And I was like, Emily goes, I cannot sleep in quiet. My daughter and 2 grandbabies live with me. I have to have TV to drown out the kids. That's kind of what I do too, to drown out like the outside noises. Like with my box, I can't hear anything. I'm out cold. And then some days I just get I have problems sleeping too lately. Brandon goes, I cannot stand waiting to leave the restroom till the toilet flushes everything. Mine is my flapper in my toilet gets stuck. So I have to wait for my toilet to finish flushing, like, and fill up. I have to wait for the whole process to flush, or because sometimes a few times it's stuck and it left the toilet running, and I came back and I was like, like just every once in a while, and then I'll walk away and then I'll come back and I'm like, oh my gosh. Because literally, if you have a toilet running for more like say like you don't have time to fix it right away, but you're gonna fix it and you leave it running, the water company will come and send a letter to you saying that you have this running water leak somewhere and you got to fix it in 3 days. Like they're crazy. Cuz that's happened to me. Joanne goes, get a new. I could, but I just don't feel like replacing it. It still works. Just every once. It doesn't happen all the time. It still works. I'm being lazy. I don't feel like replacing it because I got to turn the water off. Because the valve, the shut off valve to my toilet doesn't. It's broken, so I have to turn the water off to the entire house to fix it. I mean, I guess I could fix the valve too. I've done it, but just haven't gotten to it. So one of those things goes, if it's still working, why fix it, kind of thing. Brandon goes, yeah, that's why I wait. It still works. I mean, it only happens every once in a while, not too often. Carol goes, if it's not blowing on my face while I'm driving, I'm fine, but I do keep a window cracked open for fresh air. Plus, I smoke too. Yeah, I just have to have fresh air. And then with me, I don't like having the air conditioning on my face when I'm driving because I always get sick off the air conditioning on the car. I'm the one person that gets sick off of that. So I always kind of push it. I push it up so it's hitting my forehead because if it hits my neck or anything, I'll get sick. Joanne goes, we pay for municipal water, very expensive if there is a drip anywhere. See, I mean, you might be more expensive than we are, Joanne, but they get us if there's a drip too. Brandon goes, it's one of those things we deal with but never talk about. Exactly. Chris goes, 3 days. My toilet was wasting water for 2 weeks before it got. No, this was a couple days. Chris, I am not kidding you. It was a couple days. I was waiting for my day off to fix it at the time. And because I was like, you know what? I'll have more time. I can concentrate on it. I'll wait. I got a letter from the water company saying that I needed to fix it. I am not kidding you, Chris. California is crazy. It is. Super crazy. And the water bill. Like they get you on that too. Anything like a leaky anything I see leaking, I'm like, oh. Joanne goes, this is up to us unless the water problem, if it's closer to the street. I think if it's something that involves them, they'll fix it. But if it's anything in the house, obviously we have to fix it. Julissa goes, how do they know? I think in my neighborhood, they have a way to read all the meters without actually being in proximity of the neighborhood. I think there's some like they have like Bluetooth that goes, I don't know how it works, but something like that. Where it probably feeds to a main computer, like all the signals, and they can probably tell. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know, to be honest with you, but I think that's what they do. And also, too, I don't know if we still do, but we used to have a meter guy that would come and look at the meter, but I don't think we do anymore because I think they switched to a more technological, advanced way of doing it. Matthew goes, they don't get us for a drip. Had the toilet run once before and nothing. Wendy goes, just got a new propane tank. Dudes cut the water line last week. We can get a comp from the municipality. That's cool. Not cool that they cut a water line, but cool that they're taking care of it. Heather, whatever goes, we get charged, but my sprinkler system broke, so it's cheaper, but my lawn died, so it's ugly. I don't really water my lawn either, Heather, whatever. So I stopped because my sprinkler stopped working too. Brandon goes, can't the Kardashians and all of the I wish. Carol goes, we have a well, so lucky, Carol. We don't worry about it until we can fix it, usually about a day because they usually break at night and we can't. That's you, Carol. That is usually when it happens. It does. The most unopportune moment. I had that happen before, and the toilet kept running, and then I had water leaking this time from the toilet because the valve broke to the toilet. And I didn't know at the time where the water shut-off valve to the house was. And I was like, I don't know where that was, because when I was a kid, I remembered where it was, but I know it was moved, but I didn't know where. And so I was like, oh my God, where is this thing? And I kept walking around, and then something told me, go to the front. So I went to the front, and there's this box there that I had never thought of. And I was like, so I opened it up, and there it was. And I was like, well, that's good to know, because now if I have a problem, I know how to turn the water off. But the problem is it does have black widows in it. So if I do put my hand in there, I'll wear a glove. And I replaced the valve. Oh my God, never again. It took me all day, and I guarantee you a plumber could have done it right away, but I'm not paying a plumber to do it if I can do it myself. Took me all day to do it, but I managed to get it fixed, and it doesn't drip, and that's all that matters. It was a pain in the ass, but I did it. Watching YouTube, because I mean, when you watch YouTube videos, they make it look so easy. They're like, you just do this, you pull this out, turn this. So then you're like, okay, that looks easy. So then you go do it. 5 hours later, you're still trying to do this. You're trying to pull that out, and you still haven't even gotten to the other part that they had already finished in like 2 minutes in the video. Well, Black Widow's like the dark, like moist areas, and that's kind of a dark, moist area. And I was like, you know what? That's their home. I'm not gonna kill them. I'll just wear a glove. Carol goes, when we use our generator, we can't use the water. The pump trips the circuit breaker on the generator, but I always have bottled water on hand. Oh, wow. Chris goes, I would love a hardscape lawn, but that doesn't work in Ohio. I know what they do here. They kind of just make it like a desert lawn with rocks, which I kind of have. Kind of. Well, my lawn, actually, you know what? My front lawn has the I don't know what you call it, like the tree bark, like the mulch. The mulch. Heather, whatever. Thank you for your super chat. Yay, Lisa fixes things. Hearts for weather. Heather, whatever. Thank you, Heather, whatever. I appreciate that. Hearts for Heather, whatever. Matthew goes, probably because they loosen it after a few hours, then make the video. Exactly. So when you do it, it's like a chore. It's like a whole mission to do something. And you're like, it's even same thing when you're working on a car and you watch a video. Same thing. They're like, all you do is remove these 2 bolts and boom, it comes out. You do that, and it's like Julissa goes, so worth it. Good job, Lisa. Plumbers are expensive. Yes, that's why I go, if it's something I could do myself, I'm not getting a plumber. If it's something I cannot do, then definitely, obviously, I'm going to get a plumber. But that was something I could do. Brandon goes, but you are smart, Lisa. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Wendy goes, I live in the country. I know where all my gas and water valves are at. I know where they are now. I didn't before. And then at that time, and then my dad had passed away, so I had no one to ask where it was. I had to literally, and this was late at night. Obviously, because like Karen says, most stuff happens at night. So this was at night when this happened. So I'm walking around with a flashlight around the house looking for it. And so then I was like, you know what? Let me sit down. Let me relax. Let me think a second. And then something told me to go to the front. So that's when I had found it. Wendy goes, no plumber's crack. I need to fish goes, experience is the best teacher. It is. It is. You learn a lot of stuff when you do things on your own. Chris goes, I truly love YouTube for so many things I have learned how to do. Or Google. Google is awesome. I don't know what we would have done without Google. Magic Man goes, yeah, you don't want to go in my basement to read the meter, dank, moldy, mice, fungi. Oh, that's kind of like my garage. But it's not moldy. It's a mess and I need to clean it and I don't know what critters live in there, so I stay out of it. Chris says my last plumber was kind of a hottie. Wendy goes, what I did without internet, I just figured it out. My dad was a great teacher. I was the same way too. With prior to us having the internet when I was a kid. I used to watch my dad. My dad, he was a jack of all trades. He could fix anything. So I was always watching him. He could build a computer. He could do this. I was always watching him when he was building things. All right, guys, any last minute questions? Oh, Carol, the duck. Okay, Skeleduck. I mean, I guess you could, he's like, you can kind of see he's right. I'll just go grab him. So if you guys were watching my Pugwaji video, he's basically in the same area. He was on the end of the TV, but I kind of moved him. So now you can only see like a slit of him, but there. Oh, you still can't see him. He's right here, guys, but you can kind of there. He's right there. He's like right at the end of my name, and you could see him. You could see him more now because I pushed him back. Heather, whatever goes, wow, multi-talented dad, but your interest in learning those things is genetic too, I think. Brandon goes, what do you like better? A good swap meet or a Steve? Oh, rave. Rave, Brandon. Except the one, so we went to a music festival on Saturday. Awesome venue. Don't get me wrong. I had fun until we wanted to leave. So when we wanted to leave, we always like to leave early, like 2 hours early, so we beat the crowds. Because if you go out when everyone goes out, traffic. So we like to leave like an hour, 2 hours early to beat the traffic. So we're trying to find. We walked back like 2 or 3 times, like 2 times, and we still couldn't find the exit. Because I'm looking. So then we go up to the security guard, and on above them where the security guard's at, it's saying it's an exit, right? You can't come out this way. So we go to the next one. Can't come out this way. You got to go back the way you came in. So we walk that way, and I'm literally looking to the left of me because I know that's where I came in at. And we go all the way, and I go, it's not this way. This goes to the stage. So we asked the officer, because there was officers there too, making sure that we were okay. They were like, it should be by gate 4 or 5. So I go, they're not letting us out. So we walk back that way, still can't find the exit. And I'm looking, because now when you're walking this way, it's now on the right-hand side. So I'm looking, and it's all like blocked out, like you can't see anything. And I had seen the entrance like 3 or 4 times walking back and forth during the day. So finally we sneak out. A security guard lets us out. Kimberly, how's it going? A security guard lets us out. Another security guard comes up. She wasn't supposed to let you out. You weren't supposed to come out this way. And I'm like, where? And I was mad at this point. I'm like, then where the F are we supposed, like, I never could, but I was mad. Then where the F are we supposed to go out? Like, we're out already, and you're telling me that she wasn't supposed to let me out? Then you tell her. Why are you telling me? So we ended up having to walk back to my car, which was a mile, almost 2 miles away, because we couldn't find where the entrance, where we came in at. So needless to say, that pissed us off. But the fact is, my thing is it was a big, huge music festival, and there was only one entrance and exit at that time. Like, that is not safe. And if we want to go out, they should let us out. It doesn't matter what exit we're going. You know what I mean? If we want to leave, we should be able to leave. They shouldn't leave us. No, you can't go out this way. Well, we want to leave. It's not like I'm going to cause a problem. You know what I mean? So that's what made me mad. And then I guess I was reading comments too, because they allowed us on the ship, but you couldn't go inside the ship. But we snuck inside the ship. We kind of got in to walk around a little bit. But I read a comment too where someone where they were trying to go on an upper deck so they could see, the festival, because they let you up on the outside and kind of walk down, and the security guards, they walked all the way up, and the security guard goes, no, the 4th floor. And I guess the security guard, no, we're not letting anybody else in. So somebody had posted that they had a problem and security didn't know anything. And we even asked the information booth and they didn't know where the exit was. So that was that kind of, usually when I go to these places, I have no problem finding the exit. But this one was crazy. Like, I walked, and the whole day I did see it. But this time I was like, dude, they had to cover it, because you know how they have those makeshift like roll up gates to cover things? I think that's what they did. But I was like, nice walk though. I mean, if I had to walk that walk during the day with the sun, I would have been dying. But yeah, it was Brandon. So that pissed us off, like, after that. But it had great music. Like, I had fun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. It was 2 stages and 2 little stages. Like, you either went here or you went there. And I like festivals like that. Because it's like a good amount where you can enjoy each stage, and enjoy DJs, whatever it may be. It was a nice amount. It was a nice venue. You're right off the water. You could see the water. You see people in boats. It was hot, but you got a breeze in the afternoon. But that was the only thing I had a problem with that venue, is you couldn't find a way out. Chris goes, that sounds so weird, Lisa. Yes. And then at the time, we're mad, so we're not thinking it's a fire hazard, but later it's like, it's a fire hazard. If you want to go out, and if it's just 2 people wanting to go out, you should be able to go out. But then come to find out, because I get, the notifications that those gates were the gates that they were letting people out when the festival closed. So it's like, why didn't you let me out? And it even said on the signs, exit here to shuttles, exit here to wherever. And they weren't letting us out. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. So note to self, that's like, make sure, because usually the other events we go to are like a bigger space. So like, you can find, I never had a problem finding the exit. And there was one we went to because we were leaving early and we had to climb over people to get out. That one was crazy too, but we found the way out, but still. Brandon goes, we need a winter event. Wendy goes, exits are exactly. That's what I was thinking. What if there was like something that went down? Luckily nothing has, and I've never been in that situation, but what if something happened, and then we're all rushing to one exit? Are you going to have us? No, you can't go out this exit. You got to go out that one. Like, really? Chris goes, I've been to many venues for many different events, and they always knew. Yeah, they did not know. I've been to places. I agree with you, Chris, that they knew. They could tell you exactly where the exit is. Oh, go down that way and it's to the left. You go to these music festivals, they do not know where anything is. I am not kidding you. And mind you, it's a third party, obviously, which I get it. It's a third party that the festival hires. But I'm thinking they should at least know where the exit is. And they're at the information booth. But I agree with you, Chris. I've been to ones where they could tell you where the exit is. Even in a hotel, you ask somebody in a hotel where to pick up the tickets, and they don't know where to pick up the ticket because they have you go to a hotel to pick up the tickets, right? And you ask the people at the hotel, where do you go to pick up the tickets? Like what room? And they don't even know. And it's like, bro. I agree with you, Chris. Like, and that's what made it. We were irritated with that. But we've never had a problem going out. But just that one, I think it's maybe it's the way they designed it. It was, don't get me wrong, I had fun. It was a nice festival, but maybe the way they designed it, it was kind of, the design was not that great. The layout, I should say, not the design, the layout. It is scary because there was a lot of people. We kind of stayed on one side, because there was a lot of people on the other side. So we were like, F that, we're going on this side, less people, which is weird because usually it's the opposite when we go to other festivals, but because of the music wise. But this festival, these people, I guess is more popular for house music, so everyone was on that stage. Kimberly goes, I've been seeing Def Leppard and Journey, Joan Jett, and Motley Crue. That's cool. And I've been on the rock side too, where I've gone to rock, and I've never had a problem finding an exit or people knowing where the exit is. So I'm thinking in my head, these festivals are cool if you leave when everyone else does, but if you want to leave early, they're not. Wendy, I agree. Fun, but the layout could have gone sideways in a hot minute. Exactly. I mean, they're super secure. I mean, literally, you go through metal detectors, they check your bags. They're super secure, don't get me wrong, but you never know. You never know. Heather, whatever goes, I want to go to the Hugh concert. They had one song in a recent Star Wars movie. Oh, that is cool. All right, guys, for real. Any last minute question before I went down a rabbit hole? Julissa goes, your power. It did. Hopefully they fixed the problem. My power stayed on. Hopefully. It's annoying because you would think they would fix the issue the first time. I would rather have my power off all day long if they fix the issue. I'd be happy. I would. Thank you, Heather, whatever, again for your PayPal. Hearts for Heather, whatever. Thank you, Heather, whatever. I appreciate that. You're awesome. You are. I really do appreciate. Brandon goes, do they still have underground illegal raves in Los Angeles? I don't think they have the illegal ones anymore. Mind you, I come from the rock scene, so I am new to the rave scene. So I never went to those raves where they hand you a flyer and you had to call in different places to get directions to wherever the place was. I never got to experience that. I don't think they still do, but they do have the underground type ones going on where it's like different types of music where they don't play, like, not radio played music, I guess. Like pop, I don't know, top 40 music as I call it, because it's radio played, but they do have underground DJs that I feel like sometimes are better than some of the top 40 ones, but that's me. But Heather, whatever goes, they have illegal street shutdown races, and yes, they do. They've got the illegal street races. That unfortunately still goes on. Wendy goes, we just started to get AI telemarketing calls. We like to mess with them, do much fun. All right, guys, I am going to end the stream here. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Grayson Report. I will see you on the next one, which will be Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there, be squared. Stay spooky, guys, and sweet nightmares. Good night, guys, and you guys are awesome. Have a good one.